back to layout. So what we're going to work on here today is we're going to build the rest of the fence for the lumberyard, including the rest of the stretch on the industry spur and also the gate. And I'll show you how I do a swing gate. So if that's something you want to do on your layout, you can follow along with the building. So what I use for my fencing is Evergreen Scale Models number 211.040 rod. And what I went ahead and did is I measured how much we need left to build on our spur, and it's 40 feet. And what I did is I went ahead and went a little beyond that at 42 feet. So now I'm going to show you what I do beyond this point. So now our fence here is 8 feet tall. So what I like to do is go to 10 feet. And let me see if I can get you in there a little closer. I go to 10 feet here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it looks like that last one is 10 feet on the dot. So what we'll do now is I leave my top bar up against here. This way I can measure every 8 feet a post needs to go in. And now we're using Plastruct. This is styrene cement. And now you really don't need a lot of this stuff. This is really good stuff. All right. So we got one at the beginning. That's 8 feet. Now, next would be 40 for our next 8 foot, but we are going to go to 42. Okay, looks like that one got stuck. That's not a big deal. Now, if you ever run into a problem where it adheres to the table, you just take your edge and you just push forward with it until it breaks free. It works every time. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we have our section here. We need to measure 8 feet of the pole there, and see if I have, that cap just went right off the table. Let me see if this will be easier way. Now you just want to mark where 8 feet is. This way, when you lay your bottom rail, you're getting it straight. Let me back it out a little bit. Now, I don't really like this piece because it's all bent up. So we'll go ahead and open our new pack of 211. And now I'm going to do this in a 2-part series. We're not going to do the whole thing in one sitting. I'm going to go a little bit past. That's looking good to me. You want to give that a couple minutes to dry. Let that cement really kick in. Now, what I like to use for small styrene pieces is, I think this is a nail clipper. I can't remember where I got this. Probably the dollar store or something. It's a very simple design, but it has the edge on the outside. So, just like that. Now, what we're going to do is I use this Westcott ruler, which is pretty much the same width as our fence here. And I'll show you what I did with this. Now, here is our veil material. You get this at Joann's for, I think, a 2-foot by 4-foot section, which is how they cut it for you. This is the smallest you can go. It was $1.99. And, you know, I've made like 7 fences with it already. But you can tell this is a huge piece. You want to try to get it out nice. And now when you look at a fence, let me get a pointer here. The pieces go side to side. Yeah, because they hardly ever go up and down. It's always side to side. So what we'll do is we'll put this down. Let me move this up a little bit. Alright, this is a new enough blade. So what we want to do is we're going to cut out this section. Now you want to make sure you're applying pressure along where you're going to cut, or else the veil material will move underneath the ruler. Okay. Go ahead and get that out of the way. You go in there with your fingers and pry it apart a little bit. It'll break apart without destroying it. And then for the final removal, we're just going to cut it with scissors, because you're going to shape this up anyway after installation. Alright, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Alright, so as you can see, this bottom rail sits on the outside. We don't want that. We want to sit right there on the bottom, and our veil is going to go on the top. And what did I do with the super glue? There it is. Now this is just dollar store super glue. It's super cheap. You get a couple of these for the amount that you would go and buy the hobby stuff. Though I would prefer the hobby stuff. Just haven't had a chance to get to the hobby store, and it's the next best thing. So, to start, we're going to put a nice little bead right around there. And now you can see, I mean, I know it's hard to see on the camera, but you can see that our veil, cutting it out with the ruler, is the exact same size as our fence. So you want to go ahead, push that down around it, and then we'll just keep going down the line. Now, once in a while, this will occasionally turn into a nightmare. And right where my finger is pointing, there's a small hole in the fence. I'm not going to worry about that because over time, holes get in fences, and you know, it gives a nice aesthetic. Okay. All right. So we're on to the last one here. Now, as you saw, it stuck to the table. What I use for the top of my table here is a sheet of masonite. I think that's what it's called, or hardboard. It's what I use my fascia for, and the properties of it, if you glue something and peel it off, it just takes a piece of the board off with it. So it's very easy to pry something off. And if I flip it over, you probably see there's a little piece of the board on there. So, and it's held down with 6 screws. So when it turns to junk, I just go out, cut a new piece, and I have a fresh tabletop. Or I could flip it over and use the other side. So I'm not worried about getting glue on my tabletop because I can easily change it out with a new top. Alright, so now what we're going to do is trim up the sides. Now I'm not going to get too close because that glue is still a little bit, as you can see, still a little bit drying. But as you can see here, we have a 40-foot section of fencing ready to go if I don't glue myself to it. Now we'll go ahead and test this out on the layout. If you watched my other video, you know how to make the holes with a pin vise and set things in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep these two nubs, cut these two, and one of these is staying. So it's up to you which one you want to get, and I'll demonstrate that right now. So these two inner ones are gone, and only one of these middle ones is staying. And these three nubs alone are enough to hold the fence up. So let's go ahead, put this on the layout, and see how it looks. And in the next video, we'll paint everything, but we're just going to put this together today. Then we'll do our gate separately, and then once everything is built, we'll paint it. We'll put the silver on it to give it that little bit of a shine, and then in the end, I think we're going to weather up that whole section of fencing. So that'll be fun to follow along. But enough talking, let's get this on the layout. Alright, so here is the piece on the layout. That's a little bit better. So as you can see, it's right up against the other one. And the 42-foot brought us out to a nice distance that our gate will be just in front of the derailleur here. And I wanted to get in front of these two bundles of tall grass I've been working on, these grass tufts, as you can see. So that's going to be it for this video. Next video, we're going to build the gate, the gate, the other piece that'll go here, and I'll show you how I make my gates operational. So see you in the next video. Have a good one.